Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello dear friends, welcome back to Spiritism and the Media here on Kardec Radio. Today I would like to bring a text from the book The Gospel According to Spiritism by Allan Kardec. It is on chapter 21, False Christs and False Prophets Will Arise. That's the name of the chapter. The name of the lesson is number 8, Instructions from the Spirits, False Prophets. And the reason I brought this lesson here for us today, because I'd like us to think a little bit about false prophets when we are comparing, talking about media today. We are going to see what is the message that the Spirit Louis brought to us in 1861, and we can compare that to our times today, how we can see false prophets and how to flag false prophets in our lives. So let's read here what Louis has to tell us. So, number 8. If you are told, "Here is the Christ," do not go, but instead beware. For there will be many false prophets, yet you do not see the fig tree's leaves starting to turn white. Do not see it numerous sprouts in vain awaiting the flowering season, and did not Christ tell you that a tree is recognized by its fruit? Therefore, if the fruit is bitter, you ought to conclude that the tree is bad. But if it is sweet and beneficial, you should say nothing pure can come out of a bad stock. So that's Louis telling us about the passage from the fig tree, that famous passage when Jesus gives this lesson to the disciples about that fig tree that does not bring fruits, and Jesus says this about the how we can see the tree, if it is good or bad according to the fruit. So good trees will bring good fruits for us, and how we can compare that to the prophets to see if someone is a good prophet or a false prophet. So we may also add that we can see that seeing the fruits, the fruits can be the examples and what those people are sowing in our lives, in other people's lives. So we talked a little bit about that 2 weeks ago when we talked about the influencers, about those people who claim to be doctors of the law today in our society, and we may compare that to those people that go online and they claim to be influencers, to be those people who know about things, and that they are those people who may bring some knowledge to us, but many times they can be false prophets. So let's always see what they are sowing, what they are doing around that, their example, not only their words, but their examples, their actions. And he also says here, "It is thus, dear brothers and sisters, that you must judge. It is the deeds that you should examine. If those who claim to be clothed with divine powers bear all signs of such a mission, in other words, if they possess to the highest degree the eternal Christian virtues of charity, love, indulgence, and kindness, which reconciles all hearts, and if, in support of their words, they add their actions, only then you will be able to say these are truly, definitely in voice of God." So many people, they can use and abuse the words. They may have beautiful words. It's very easy for us to put beautiful words on the paper, to copy so beautiful stories and spread those stories out there, but it's not that easy to live, to act by following those words, by following those teachings. So let's always examine, let's always compare and says, what would Jesus do in this or that situation? And we know the Spirit brought that to us, that our model and guide here on planet Earth is Jesus. So our model and guide is Jesus. So Jesus is the one we need to compare, we need to see, we need to watch, and we need to follow the examples. So if we see that someone is not following the examples of Jesus, so that is a red flag, even though that person is bringing good words, even though if that person claimed to be some envoy of God, of Christ, or some missionary, we need to see the acts, we need to see the examples that person is bringing to us. And Luis also says, but beware of honeyed words, beware of scribes and Pharisees who pray in public places, dress in long robes, beware of those who claim to have an exclusive monopoly of truth. No, Christ is definitely not there, since those whom he sends to disseminate his holy doctrine and to regenerate his people, like the Master, will be meek and humble of heart above all things. Those who must, by their example and their advice, save humanity from plunging itself into ruination and from wandering in tortuous paths, will be above all modest and humble. Anything revealing even an atom of pride should be avoided like a contagious plague which corrupts everything it touches. Remember that each and every created being bears on its forehead, but above all in its deeds, the stamp of its greatness or decadence. So again, not only following the words, but following the examples, watching the examples, and examining the person, because today is very easy, especially when we are talking about influencers. Everybody can easily go online and become an influencer, and many people will do whatever they can to have more followers. And many times they do things that are not good, or they may be bringing some beautiful words, but if we examine what the message in reality is not that good. So that's important for us, as he's saying here, for us always to examine the message, the words, and the examples of the person. Therefore, go, dearly beloved children, advance without delay and without any ulterior motives on the blessed path which you have taken. Go, keep going without fear, courageously keep away everything that could hinder your progress toward the eternal goal. Travelers, you will only remain in darkness and the pain of trials for a very short time if you let your hearts go to this sweet doctrine which came to reveal the eternal laws to all of you and to satisfy all your soul's aspirations toward the unknown beyond. From now on, you can give substance to these ethereal selves that you saw passing in your dreams and which ephemeral could only charm your spirit but said nothing to your heart. So it's very important. It needs to touch our heart, those words. Now, dearly beloved, death has disappeared to make way for the radiant angel you know, the angel of both farewell and reunion. Now you who have successfully accomplished the task imposed by the Creator have nothing more to fear from God's justice, because God is parent and always forgives its lost children who cry out of mercy. So keep going, keep moving onward. May your motto be that of progress, of continuous progress in all things, until you finally reach the happy destination where all those who have preceded you are waiting for you. Louis Bordeaux, 1861. And as usual, let's read a message from the book Happy Life by Joana de Angelis through Divaldo Pereira Franco. Randomly here, number 120. Even if you do not know you're somebody's role model, there is always someone watching what you do, tuning into it even if it is wrong. For that reason, you are responsible not only for what you do, but also for how your ideas and attitudes inspire others. Dictators and tyrants by themselves could not do much were it not for those who think like them and support them. Likewise, the work of God, the good would fail were it not for those who are selflessly and lovingly connected with it. Be aware of your words and deeds, stimulating followers who will grow spiritually and act correctly. So very important to connect both those lessons. So for us to think about not only how to be able to see, to flag false prophets, and also not to become a false prophet. It's very important for us to see ourselves in both sides so we may always act correctly following Jesus' step. Thank you so much for your company. May God bless all of us. See you next week.